Thank you for being my best friend.
There's truly no time like the holidays. Joy is in the air, love is all around, and the overall messages of those around us are overwhelmingly positive. Unless you're unvaccinated, of course.
For unvaccinated, we are looking at a winter of severe illness and death. For unvaccinated. For themselves, their families, and the hospitals they'll soon overwhelm.
Thanks, asshole. How you doing? I'm Sal Joao, aka the Portuguese Godfather. And before we get started, don't forget to click that like button, subscribe, and use the link below to support me on Patreon. If you know me, you'll know just how much I absolutely love communism and everything that comes along with it. Speaking of communism, I live in New York, where in the upcoming legislative session, which lasts from January 5th, 2022 to June 2nd, 2022, bills such as Assembly Bill A416 are going to be voted on. Now you might ask, what's wrong with Assembly Bill A416? Well, let's take a look. Removal and detention of cases, contacts, and carriers who are or may be a danger to public health in the event that the governor declares a state of health emergency due to an epidemic of any communicable disease. In layman's terms, if you are deemed a threat to public health during a state of health emergency, like the one we're currently in, you get shipped to the gulag.
Great success!
The current governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, declared a state of emergency due to the pandemic on November 26th, effective through January 15th, 2022. The bill states that it will go into effect on the 30th day after it is signed into law. Now that doesn't seem like a problem considering that the health emergency technically ends on January 15th, but given the powers granted to Kathy Hochul under Section 28, Article 2B of New York State Executive Law, Kathy Hochul can extend, or any governor, by that matter, can extend the state of health emergency indefinitely. That's totally not fucking insane. If that doesn't make your balls retract, just wait till you hear what's actually in the bill. Section 1, Subdivision 2 states, upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case that, in the opinion of the governor, may pose an imminent and significant threat to public health, the governor may order the removal and or detention of such a person or of a group of such persons by issuing a single order. I mean, what the fuck? And that's not even the craziest part. Such person or group of persons shall be detained in a medical facility or other appropriate facility or premises designated by the governor. Premises designated by the governor. Where have I heard something like that before? I can't quite put my finger on it. Here's the kicker. A person or group removed or detained by the order of the governor shall be detained for such period and in such manner as the department may direct in accordance with this section. So basically, they can detain you for however long they want. When they pull you out of the house, make sure you tell the family not to wait up for you. To further drive the point home, Section 1, Subdivision 4D, Subsection 2 states, a person who is detained shall not continue to be detained after the department determines that the contact no longer presents a potential danger to the health of others. So you're telling me that a state official would determine whether or not I'm a danger to public health? What could possibly go wrong? Section 1, Subdivision 7 of the bill reads, the governor or his or her delegee shall prove the particularized circumstances constituting the necessity for such detention by clear and convincing evidence. Multiple times this bill says that the governor will need clear and convincing evidence. Well, when the time comes, who is it that will be defining the term clear and convincing? Will it be the governor? Now, New York State has one of the highest COVID case rates in the nation. And this brings up a very important question. Could this alone be clear and convincing evidence? I mean, those were Kathy Hochul's grounds for declaring the state of emergency in the first place. So who's to say they can't use that as evidence? Let's say you get detained. What happens if you request to leave? In the same section of the bill, it reads, when a person or group is ordered to be detained for a period exceeding 3 business days, and such person or member of such group requests release, the governor shall make an application for a court order authorizing such detention. After any such request for release, detention shall not continue for more than 5 business days in the absence of a court order authorizing detention. So if the government can keep getting these court orders, you stay in jail or the gulag indefinitely. I'm talking unlimited authorization. Now you might ask, Sal Joao, what does this have to do with being unvaccinated if vaccinated people can get COVID too? Well, what's your definition of fully vaccinated? Anthony Fauci can't seem to decide on his. What happens when they change the definition fully vaccinated and those who are double vaxxed are no longer deemed as such? Are they a threat to public health now? That brings up a whole slew of issues, such as vaccine passports, but we'll get into that in another video. Speaking of vaccines, you'd think they probably have a role to play in all this, wouldn't you? You'd be damn right. Section 1, Subdivision 12 states, the governor or his or her delegee may issue and seek enforcement of any other orders that he or she determines are necessary to prevent dissemination or transmission of contagious diseases or other illnesses that may pose a threat to the public health, including, but not limited to, require an individual who has been exposed to or infected by a contagious disease to complete an appropriate prescribed course of treatment, okay, preventative medication, all right, or vaccination. That's right, boys and girls. The governor will literally be able to force you to get the vaccine. Oh, but silly me. She still needs a court order in order to forcibly administer the shot. How could I have been so fucking ignorant? But seriously, that shouldn't be too hard to do, considering how much New York politicians have been pushing the population to get the shot. Just look at this recent plea from Bill de Blasio for New Yorkers to go get their booster shots.
It'd be nice to have a little extra cash, so as of today, we're announcing a $100 incentive for everyone who goes out and gets a booster here in New York City between now and the end of the year.
You heard that right. $100 fucking. New York has the highest vaccination rate in the whole country at 71%, yet we still have one of the highest case rates. But hey, when all else fails, just blame the unvaccinated. If Assembly Bill A416 passes, it will have dire consequences for this nation as a whole. We need to protest this terrible legislation and anything like it in any other state. But hey, if all else fails, just move to Florida.